be on the ballot in Maryland's biggest race in just a few months, but before we talk about that, we need to take a minute to discuss the story from your county that commanded nationwide attention this past week, the shopping mall shooting in Columbia. You said that your county was a tough county and it would not take long for things to get back to normal. But is this the new normal? We had the Navy Yard last year. We know they'll happen. We just move on, or is there something you can do about this?
No, I think it's they're mixed emotions, right? I mean, we'll never fully be back to normal. The Columbia Mall will never be 100% normal. We'll always know that a terribly tragic incident took place there. I've spent a lot of time in that mall since, frankly, my whole life. But I've spent a lot of time in that mall since Saturday morning, and it was a terrible, tragic event. We lost lives. But at the same time, I saw some things that really made me proud. One is I saw first responders doing exactly what they were trained to do. And, our first officer arrived on the scene within 2 minutes. We had members of our SWAT team there within 4 or 5 minutes. And they did exactly what they're trained to do. They rushed in and, risked their lives to try to keep others safe. We also had a tremendous amount of well-coordinated help from neighboring jurisdictions. I mean, within minutes, there were officers from Montgomery County, Prince George's County, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County, federal folks, the state of Maryland, state police. It really worked, frankly, about as well as we could have expected. With that said, we're going to do an after-action report and figure out what we could do better. But the other thing I saw that really warmed my heart and my wife's Jackie's as well is we went store to store after the mall opened. And we talked to so many merchants who worked at the mall, and they told us their stories of hiding in back storage rooms and closets and dressing rooms with sometimes dozens of customers and employees. And nobody panicked. Everybody did the right thing. They grabbed people they didn't even know and grabbed their kids and huddled. And, I talked to the manager of the Disney store, for example, who they had almost 50 people hiding in the back, about 30 children. And she gave each one of them toys. And she also told me that when the SWAT team member arrived to clear the store and to help get everyone out safely, he said to the kids, has anybody seen Toy Story? He said, Andy sent me. We're part of Andy's army, and he sent us to keep you safe. And I heard so many stories like that. The woman who runs the carousel, you don't think about the carousel, was running and filled with children and quickly stopped it and helped the parents get to their kids and rush out of the mall. So, in times of tragedy, we saw our true values. But the new normal, so getting back to your question, is I think two things. One is we are never going to be able to stop every senseless act of violence in our communities. We're just not, no matter what we do. On the same point, we're not going to just throw up our hands and say this is the new normal. We need to take a look at every public policy solution that we think could make a difference. And if that's gun safety, if that is mental health, that is our bullying culture, which, we launched an anti-bullying campaign in Howard County because, frankly, so many of these perpetrators seem to be kind of lost in society. I will say just one more thing before we go.
Before Tom interrupts you.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
I've been very
he's
polite.
still thinking about new words to call the budget. I was thinking budget freedom, or I don't know.
Okay.
But the last thing I do want to say is when it comes to mental illness, I think one of the things clearly to come out of this is this is a young man who expressed in his journal that he knew that he had mental health issues. He knew it, and he did not feel comfortable reaching out to anyone about it. And so that stigma, although I think we've made progress as a society, there's clearly a stigma where there's barriers out there for people reaching out to getting help, and then sometimes when they do, the help isn't there. And so we need to take a look at that as a central issue.